Well, I think it's pretty clear that there's been failures throughout that has led to Mr. Snowden now being granted asylum in Russia. There is now a large percentage of Americans, particularly young Americans, who view Mr. Snowden as some kind of a whistleblower when we know that he betrayed his oath of office. There's a young generation that believe that he is some kind of Jason Bourne, and there has got to be more transparency. We need to ask questions like, why did Mr. Snowden have access to the information that he had to? It couldn't have been part of his job. What about congressional oversight? Have we had a failure there? And clearly, Mr. Snowden's being granted asylum in Russia is a signal of incredibly bad relations between the United States and Russia, and Mr. Putin putting his thumb right in America's eye.
Let's talk, though, about some of the specific reforms that President Obama proposed in his news conference. Let's put them up on the screen. Have a privacy advocate argue against the government on the other side in the surveillance court. Tighten the mass collection of phone records. Be more transparent when you can about surveillance. Do you think those are good ideas, or do you think there's a possibility they could impede our ability to stop a terrorist who means to do us harm?
Well, there's a careful balance here between preserving our assets and capabilities and making sure the American people are aware, are convinced that their privacy is not being violated. And it is a careful balance. Right now, as I mentioned, there's a kind of a generational change here. Young Americans do not trust this government. Without trust in government, then you can't do a lot of things. So I don't disagree with any of those proposals of the president's, but I also would ask how in the world do we have all these thousands of contractors and people like Snowden who may have access to information that there is no reason for them to have? We used to have a thing called need to know. Clearly, Mr. Snowden did not have the need to know the information that he is now revealing. It's also very revealing about the state of our relations with Russia and Mr. Putin.
I'm going to get to